The offseason is in full swing, ladies and gentlemen. Utah is trading Rudy Gobert to Minnesota. The Timberwolves are sending Malik Beasley, Patrick Beverley, Walker Kessler, Jared Vanderbilt, and multiple first round picks. And when it says multiple, it means multiple. Minnesota is sending 4 first round picks and the 2022 first round pick, Walker Kessler, in the deal for Rudy Gobert. 2023, 2025, 2027, all unprotected, and a top 5 protected 2029 pick. As well, I believe they have a 2026 pick swap. So, this is insane. Okay, free agency is not disappointing at all. This trade is absolutely insane. It's not completely out of nowhere. There was rumors past few days about Gobert possibly moving to the Timberwolves. But to be honest, I thought the deal would include D'Angelo Russell at least and some first round picks or something. But they managed to keep D'Angelo Russell, Anthony Edwards, Carl Anthony Towns, and now they have Rudy Gobert. So now they have Gobert and Carl Anthony Towns, both centers, making $200 million. Uh, Initially, for the Utah Jazz, to talk about Utah first, this is a really big package, but at the same time, it really isn't that much of a package. Malik Beasley, a really good 3 point shooter. Patrick Beverley, obviously, a really, really good guard, defender, and just an annoyance for whoever he faces off defending. Pretty decent. He's an okay shooter, but his defense obviously helped propel the Timberwolves defense as a whole. He really got that team like to take a defensive effort, which made D'Angelo Russell better at defense. Cat and Anthony Edwards tried a bit better on defense, and he was a big part of their culture shift this past season, which helped them finally make the playoffs again, which they haven't done very much in the past 2 decades. Um, so yeah, they traded Patrick Beverley. Walker Kessler is the first round pick they got this year, and Jared Vanderbilt, one of their best defenders, a 4, and as I said, the multiple first round picks for Utah. This is really a trade for the picks, sending 4 basically unprotected picks from the Timberwolves is a little risky by the Wolves. I don't know what to tell you. It's a lot of picks unprotected in the far future. A 2027 first round pick, that's 5 years from now. Sure, Cat and Gobert are under contract for a couple more seasons. Anthony Edwards is going to get a max eventually, and he's going to be on the team. But that's still pretty risky in 5 years from now. 2029 is a top 5 protected pick, so even if they're bad and they don't get a top 5 pick, they could get the 7th pick, and Utah gets it. Now the Jazz finally are blowing it up. They've had Gobert and Donovan Mitchell for a couple years now. They had great regular seasons, but multiple disappointing postseasons. They've only made it to the second round like twice now. It just seemed inevitable after this past postseason that they would be trading one or the other or both even. And I feel like Donovan Mitchell should be getting traded soon. There was a report that came out that the Jazz are trying to build around Donovan Mitchell, but I don't really buy it with this package. They have all those picks. Jared Vanderbilt is a good, pretty young player. Walker Kessler, obviously, he's a first round pick from this year. Patrick Beverley is pretty good, but I have a feeling he might be getting bought out because I don't really think he wants to go to Utah. And Malik Beasley, he's a pretty decent shooter as well. But these guys, I don't really, I mean, value wise, for defensively, Patrick Beverley and Jared Vanderbilt are pretty good, but they don't match up to what Gobert was doing for this whole team. He was their entire defense. Whenever Gobert was not on the floor, the Jazz's defense was one of the worst in the league. Donovan can't defend. Mike Conley is super old now. Bogdanovich and who else they had? Joe Ingles they're not that good defenders anymore. They don't even have Joe Ingles anymore. So I don't really buy that they're going to be building around Donovan Mitchell because with all these first round picks, it seems like it's kind of like a reset. Like this era should be kind of over because this is not really a package that you build around Donovan Mitchell. Maybe it is, but I don't really think Donovan is worth that, to be honest. And there's rumors of a Miami Tyler Hero Donovan Mitchell trade possibly happening. So it's that could happen, and then this whole building around Donovan Mitchell just doesn't work anymore. But yeah, for the Jazz, I really think that they should be going full reset now. I don't think Donovan is worth rebuilding on. I don't know. He's a good player, but I don't really think he's like number one option worthy player. And with the amount of picks they got, and young players, Vanderbilt is pretty young. He's a great defender. Walker Kessler, literally a first round pick from this year. Plus all the first round picks you got now. I think you should. I don't know. Maybe you can build around Donovan, but I just don't really see it like that. On the Timberwolves side, man, this is a huge trade for them. Obviously, this past season was one of their best seasons in a while. They finally made the playoffs. They put a pretty decent competition against the Grizzlies, and now they're going full in on it. And I honestly think this is not that bad of a move. The amount of first round picks that they gave up is a little bit questionable. It is a lot, but they were able to keep D'Angelo Russell. They were able to keep Anthony Edwards, and they were able to keep Karl Anthony Towns. And now you have Rudy Gobert. Rudy Gobert, obviously, starting five now. I think Cat will now be able to play the four, which I think is a better position for him. Cat has never been a defender like that, and he's much more of a scorer. And it just seems like he'll be able to. I think he'll be able to guard fours a bit better than fives, and he won't be tasked to be a rim protector like that, which he's never really been that. And obviously he still needs to play defense and be better on that end, but I think him playing the four will make it a bit easier for him. D'Angelo Russell is still their one. Ant is still their two. For their three, they have some other options. They did sign Kyle Anderson a few days ago, which I think is a pretty good signing for them. He can play their three, I guess. That would be a pretty big backcourt. But, they still have a lot of people on the bench that could maybe play the three. I don't know yet. But, I mean, for this lineup, it's not that bad. Obviously, D'Angelo Russell and Anthony Edwards are still not defenders like that. But last season, when Patrick Beverley was around, they both stepped up their game defensively. And I think that momentum-wise, now they know that, we already made it to the playoffs. It's like now we should expect ourselves to make the playoffs again. I hope that defensively they'll be able to keep up what they did last year and maybe even improve a bit more. Now the fit with Gobert and Cat, some people are questioning it. Obviously, they're both centers, and it's a bit, having two centers in this day and age with all the 3-point shooting and the small ball lineups and all that. Maybe it's a bit questionable, but Karl Anthony Towns is literally like the best 3-point shooting center of all time. 40% 3-point shooter. I think he can play the four amazing, and Gobert really just has to continue to protect the paint and play defense. Offensively, Gobert has never been anything like that. He catches lobs, but I don't really want him to dribble the ball at all or anything like that. But now, Anthony Edwards and Karl Anthony Towns are the main scoring options. Rudy Gobert will not really have that scoring, expectation of him. Like on the Jazz, he was their either first best player because of his defense or second best player because Donovan Mitchell was playing better, offensively. But he was never really like a second option in terms of offense. Now he doesn't even have to be that. He's like, I don't know, the fifth option on offense because Cat, Anthony Edwards, D'Angelo Russell, maybe whoever even plays the three will all score more than him. So he really just has to hunker down and play defense like he always does. 3-time defensive player of the year. I believe in him. And, his problem in Utah is that everyone else around him was horrible at defense. So he would always have to go back to protect the paint, which would leave a lot of open shooters in the corners, which happened against the playoff series against the Mavs, which happened against the Clippers 2 seasons ago. And now, hopefully, they'll have more competent defenders around Rudy Gobert so that this exploitation of his game won't be as prevalent. There's still questions about the whole fit and everything, but honestly, what do the Timberwolves? I mean, they have a lot to lose. The Timberwolves have a lot to lose because these picks are unprotected far in the future. But they just signed Cat on an extension yesterday. Gobert is making money for the next few seasons. Ant is still in a really small deal, and he'll eventually sign a max, and you'll be able to keep him. So you'll have 3 max players, 2 great at offense. Anthony Edwards is still super young. He's only played like 3 seasons in the league now. He's only going to get better. Cat has been having some of his best seasons yet last season. He disappointed a little bit in the playoffs, but you know, it is what it is. So honestly, I think this is a pretty good trade for Minnesota. Time will tell with these picks, and for Utah, it seemed inevitable. This is an okay package. The picks are amazing. The players are okay. I really think that they should trade Donovan Mitchell. It doesn't really make sense to with these guys to build around him, but maybe they keep him, or maybe they trade him to Miami. Who knows?